Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's 4:15 on a very, very warm London afternoon. I'm looking at the US market and I'll do my best to keep this short. The short-term trend is turned up, although it's got a long way to go until 9 o'clock tonight before it closes. The underlying trend is down, and we've got a confirmed down in place now for many weeks and months. The breadth of the market is still awful. The buy-sell ratio is in 0.29, and we're still just out of a mega oversold situation on the MTI market timing indicator. If we have a look at, I think I've got it open at the VectorVest market timing. That's the SPX. There we go. And this I thought was a reasonable signal. That's the last DEW signal down, which was in the 10th of June. The longest term measure of the trend is called a confirmed call, and that's been down, folks, since April. There was a little bit of a blurb up here, this rally, and it's been down since April. So conservative investors should have in fact been out of the market, or should have been hedging a position since April, and that would have hedged out an awful lot of downside. This is a little Wyckoff spring. Those of you that watch my essays before, watch my presentations before, I think it's probably got a little bit more legs in it, folks, up till about here, and then we'll see if this market can in fact move up, but clearly there's resistance there. I trade the S&P 500 for a living, folks, so maybe a bit more familiar with the numbers in the S&P. There's the S&P, and like the VectorVest composite, it's struggling at yesterday's high, and it can easily go from here to well over 4,000. So if I put on my fib retracement from that high down to that low, I think if it breaks through these highs, it can quite easily get up to here, somewhere between the 1.27 extension of that pullback and the 1.618 of that. I think I ran that yesterday. The 1.618 is 4091, so it can get up to 4091 and then make a decision for us as to whether the trend is going to change or whether we're actually going to have another sell-off on the downside. I'm long of the market at the moment. I've been long of the market since the open, slightly, in fact before the open. We have a look at the 30-minute chart. That's the overnight market, folks, and I got into the market somewhere about there as it broke up through that high. Rocket science, I know, but I had a very strong feeling that we were going to actually break up and take out these highs. Pulled an awful lot of people long, and then of course what happens then, try and take them out again. So big decisions I think to be made by this market, somewhere around the 4,080 level on the S&P 500. Are those decisions going to be made before the Fed meeting on the 27th? Well, I very, very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. I think it's the 27th. I'm not quite sure. If we now go and have a look at the UK market, this is last night's close, folks, and as you can see, we printed our first green light on VectorVest UK for one heck of a long time. So the short-term trend is turned up, so the very, very most aggressive measure of the overall market in the UK has turned up, and it's printed a green light saying that the price of the VectorVest composite is up day over day and week over week. That signal is a bit too noisy for me, and VectorVest advocates caution. I'm going to wait, folks, until the DEW prints a buy signal. I don't think I've got that one open, so if I go to the VectorVest market timing graph and pull that up, I've got the DEW. I was looking at it a few minutes ago, and we take out these envelopes. The envelopes don't in fact help our analysis much. They've only in fact been useful twice in 10 or 11 years. That was after the COVID and after the what's called the global financial crisis. As you can see, if we pull this up to about 6 months, we can see that we in fact have closed, I think, a couple of days now, or at least one day, above the moving average that defines this. And if the momentum indicator, the DPO, in fact, breaks up through this center line, which is 0, then that would be a buy signal. If I put on the DEW signals, as you can see, some great signals, and that wasn't a great one. And I got caught in a couple of positions, although both positions that I bought in there, I added to one position, and I in fact bought a new position there. And both stocks, even with this sell-off, both stocks in fact are above their VectorVest stop loss. I don't think they're in profit, but they haven't stopped me out yet. So I'd be tempted to stick a little toe into the market when the DEW signal kicks in. It's not that far away, a couple of decent days, and it will print a buy signal. So if I have a look, I was looking at a moment ago a uni search on VectorVest, which has been useful for me over the years. It's a uni search that combines both the technical position of a share with the fundamental position of a share. Now, I haven't got time to talk about RV and RS in any great length here, but relative value is a measure of the share price appreciation potential in relation to a corporate bond. And both myself and our members have proven that if the relative value is above 1.25, that's a really good number. I'm looking for reasonable safety in this type of market, so I'm looking for a relative safety which measures the safety and the predictability of the earnings stream over the last 5 or 6 years to be greater than 1.25 on a scale between 0 and 2. And I'm looking for the share to have a percentage forecast annualized growth rate to be greater than 15%. I ran that search a little bit, and there's an awful lot of old favorites there. Serica's there. Thungela's there. I still like Thungela, folks. I think there's more legs in it. It's going sideways. It's going sideways in falling volume. Although the on the up days, it's hard really to get a definitive increase in volume. But nevertheless, to me, it looks quite good. The one that I really do like, I like James Latham, although it is low volume, I know. It's a name stock, I know, but it's a building stock. I think that the share's got an awful lot of legs. If we look back now for a while, we can see that that's my attempt at a flagpole. I think that probably this would be more relevant. So there's a huge target in this. It's on a buy. It's pushing on a 52-week high. How many shares have we got pushing on a 52-week high in this environment? Volume is light, folks. Put up the VectorVest valuation. As you can see, as that earnings growth came in, we revalued the stock, so it's significantly less than it's trading at. I think that you need to, small traders will be fine there. Bigger traders with large portfolios, well, you need to make sure that you can always can get in, but you need to make sure that you can get out. So just check the liquidity on that. That is quite a humongous target in that share. That's about a £6-7 target, and that would take it well above the VectorVest valuation. So that's something that came up this morning that I've been looking at. In my essay to VectorVest customers, I wrote about Capricorn last weekend, and I like the look of Henry Butt as well, although it's clipped its stop loss in the last few days. Just remember, folks, that the trend on the US market and in the UK market are significantly down, apart from the shortest measure of the trend. I think that although we want to get in at good levels, only the most aggressive people should be considering buying in at the moment. I think that if the S&P gets above, where's my S&P now? If the S&P, that's the SPX, if it breaks that high, that'll be good. But if it gets above 4,000 and can pull back and then use these old tops as that resistance becoming support, then that will be a really good signal. However, there is a high probability that it can move up, and then this longer term trend can exert itself again and move to the downside, as we saw here. So nobody knows what's going to happen next, and I certainly don't. I shall be simply following the signals. One of my first desk heads years ago told me that when it's time to buy, you won't want to. So I always do my best to try and get in at good prices where I can risk £1 to make £5 or £6. I tried that there, and clearly I got a good old-fashioned smack, but I'm going to try it again. I'm a resilient soul. Folks, I've been out of circulation in hospital for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I hope on the up, still not 100%, but I'll do my best to try and make these more frequent. As I say, only the most aggressive people should be getting their wallets out. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.